Hi, I'm Leslie with Heartfelt Yoga. I'm so happy you're here, and I'm really excited to share with you about my program, The Sanctuary. Since you're here, I bet you practice yoga. And even if you don't practice really regularly right now, that you either have practiced or that you're interested in developing a practice, and I can help with that. You might meditate, and for sure, I bet you really want to live consciously and mindfully. Am I right about that? Whether you're practicing yoga right now, um, you know some of the benefits of yoga. It helps you feel stronger, more flexible, and more balanced. That's what we all say about what yoga does. But we're not just talking about that you could hold a plank pose for a ridiculous amount of time, or that you could easily reach down and touch your toes, or even put your palms underneath the soles of your feet. We're not talking about just the ease with ability to stand on one leg. We're talking, when we say yoga helps, we're talking about in all of those realms, not just in the physical. It helps you feel better and able to not only cope with, but thrive, regardless of the unknown, the stresses, the challenges that you might experience, to thrive in your life and live well. It helps you be more flexible, open-minded, open-hearted, even as you take a stance for what's important to you, for what you believe in. And it helps you to stay calm, helps you to stay centered, to not be like that old adage they say, where you could live in the center of the wheel, where it's more peaceful, things aren't rocking quite so hard, and you can keep up, versus going out and living on the outside of the wheel where you're thrown around by the chaos of life. And we've had some chaos to deal with this last year, haven't we? 2020, it's been something else. Yoga helps you to stay more in a sense of peace, having peace of mind, even when peace in the world feels so out of reach. In the sanctuary, I guide you in all of the sort of typical practices that you might think of as doing yoga. We work with breathing, we do meditation, and we do yoga poses. My teaching is focused around alignment and support for the body, learning how to really inhabit your body in the best way possible. And that inhabited, embodied experience helps with all of those other things, what I call the inner yoga. And that's really where the focus is on developing your inner yoga practice. It doesn't matter so much what it looks like on the outside. The outer yoga, what we see that we're doing, is kind of like the method, but the inner yoga is the real practice. And this is why the community aspect of the sanctuary, and some of the exercises and suggestions, and that day-to-day support that I give you to stay engaged and focused in your practice and bringing your yoga off your mat moment to moment, is so important. When you talk to members of the sanctuary, you don't hear much about how they finally rocked their bakasana. You don't hear too much about how stretched out they feel. The first thing they talk about is not how sweaty they got or even about how relaxed they felt. Although all of those things can happen, they say things like Glenn shared in a recent social media post where he said, "The gifts of the sanctuary include heartfelt community, embodied wisdom, and soul nourishing practices. I always look forward to our time together, even in the Zoom environment. We do poses with alignment with heart and soul. What could be better?" Thanks, Glenn, for sharing that. I really love that people can see that this is what yoga is about. And when I'm teaching, I'm not just a person on the screen giving you some yoga poses and then signing off. I'm really there with you and talking with you. We have time before and after to connect. And even during the class, you can ask questions. It's very much like being in the studio. except we're socially or physically distanced as we need to be at this time. You know, Melanie, another one of my students who's been there since the very first session, she shared, I keep returning consistently for the refuge I experience here. It's not a refuge where I make all of the painful experiences of my inner and outer worlds disappear or feel better or be sprinkled with fairy dust. It's a refuge where I can be fully who I am, in the mess and in the glory. It's a refuge filled with beautiful things. It really touches my heart when the students talk about what they receive. I am there present, giving all that I can from my year's history of yoga and my ongoing practice. And their energy there and what they share feeds me, and we really support one another so deeply in that way. All the classes are recorded so that if you can't make it to a particular class at the time that it's scheduled, you can practice anytime. And the recordings are downloadable, so you can create a whole yoga library for yourself. Mary is one of the students who uses the recordings frequently, and she said, the recordings keep me grounded in a way I can't do on my own. They challenge me to think about and explore my yoga practice with more depth and intention, and I've experienced this more than ever before my practice. I love the community of like-minded people because I learn from their observations every time they make a contribution. And there is some sharing that we do. A lot of the class is focused so that you just get to do your yoga, but then you also get to come out and share what it is that you've experienced and get what my friend Cindy calls the borrowed benefits of other people's practice. There's a real mix of students in the program, from people who are fairly new to people who've practiced for years and know that it will be a lifelong practice, including several yoga teachers who are coming, like Casey, who said, practicing within a community of like-minded people, especially now, encourages me to continue being a student and helps me stay in inquiry about what I value, both in yoga and in life. The sanctuary is a place where you can go and really learn, like dive deeper into your yoga practice and learn how to take it moment to moment into your life. The things these students have shared are the reasons that I continue to offer the sanctuary and why it continues to evolve. And this next session for 3 months, we're going to be really focusing on resilience and building up your resources for resiliently thriving in your life. Take a look below all the details and do reach out if you have questions. Otherwise, you can click where it says join. It'll walk you through the whole process. And I invite you to join us. I hope to see you inside the sacred space of the sanctuary. Namaste.